Wondering what's in my bag? Stay tuned and find out. Hey guys, Matt here from Disc Digest, and we're here to do a in the bag. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start out with my putters. I throw 4 putters. I usually throw just 2, sometimes just depends on how windy it is. So I have 2 soft magnets here from Discraft. Those are for like close shots. When it's kind of windy, I like to throw these 2. I just got a new dagger from Latitude. I've only played with it once, so I don't really know a whole lot about it, except it flies really straight, has a nice wide rim, and it fits in your hand really good. It feels really nice to throw. Other than that, I think it's a pretty good putter. My next one I got is from Innova. It's a Rhino. This is more like my throwing putter for longer shots. It's a hard putter, so it flies pretty straight with it has a fade at the end. It's not hard, but it fades a little bit at the end, so it's pretty good for long shots. Let's go do the mid-ranges. So I got 2 different buzzes. I have a Z-Flex buzz and just a regular buzz. I think it's the premium plastic. I don't throw this one a whole lot. I usually stick with my Buzz SS because it flies very straight, and no matter how hard I throw it, it still goes straight. It's pretty flexible, as you can see. Feels really good in your hand, and it's very grippy on the top and the bottom of the flight plate. It doesn't really have a whole lot of fade at the end, no matter if you flick it or throw it back in. It just goes straight and then it kind of just sits down. I got this one. It is a duck, which I don't really throw it a whole lot anymore, but it goes pretty straight for a while when you throw it back in, and then it dumps to the left. I don't really use it a whole lot. I mean, I do sometimes, depending on what course I'm playing. Other than that, it's not that bad of a mid-range. So I have 2 Fairway Drivers. I have a Saint by Latitude. This is the fairway driver that I throw all the time, basically. It's an overstable, so it's a little bit different, but I like it. It usually dumps kind of hard whichever way you throw it. Left if you're throwing backhand, dumps kind of hard right if you're throwing it forehand. But it's usually pretty predictable. It dumps pretty much in the same spot no matter which way you throw it. I got a Innova Champion Leopard fairway driver. It's pretty beat up. It's got some cuts in it. It's pretty old. It flies pretty straight. It dumps a little bit to the left if you're throwing it backhand. It's the cuts on it on the flight plate make it not fly right sometimes, depending on how windy it is outside. That's why I don't really use it a whole lot anymore, because of the cuts in it. I can't depend on it when it's windy out. So let's go on to my drivers. I've got quite a few drivers. So I've got a Discraft Mantis. It flies very straight, pretty good in the wind. It's kind of light, it's only 166 grams. The plastic isn't very good on it, but if it's a heavily wooded area and I don't have to go very far, it's very good to throw this disc. It's more of a short range distance driver. So I like to throw that in the wooded area in a tight tunnel shot. I got a Prodigy Core Team D2 driver. It is overstable, so it is very good if I have to go around a corner or in a very tight tunnel shot that has to dump left, hard, or right. So I like throwing this quite a bit. I've got a QSAR Quantum. It is kind of like the Prodigy disc, the D2 that I have. It flies basically exactly the same. It goes a little bit farther on my backhand than the Prodigy disc does. I don't throw this one a whole lot, but when I do, it usually goes where I want it to go. So it's a pretty good disc. It's made by Millennium. I have a West Side Sword. This is a very old disc in my bag. As you can see, I've customized it because the stamp on it has faded. It is a very good backhand and forehand. It's not overstable, so if you crank on it too hard in the wind, it usually dumps really hard one way or the other. I like to throw it just about 80% of my power on it in the wind, and it usually flies exactly where I want it to go. This is a very good disc that when I know I have to make a good shot and an accurate shot, I throw this. I have two different ballistas. I have this ballista, which it's 175 grams, and this one is 156. This one, it's a stable, very super fast disc. It's a lot heavier, so it doesn't fade hard one way or the other. I can get it to go pretty straight. This one, since it's so light, and if there's a little bit of wind when I try to flick this disc, it goes to the left, and it usually doesn't come back to the right a whole lot. I mean, it does a little, but not much. So I usually don't throw that light one. I usually throw the heavier one for my longer shots. Yeah, it's a really good disc. I'm really trying to go to Latitude for all of my discs, so need to get some more mid-ranges in that area. I just got these two. Just got a Moonshine Gladiator and a Opto-Hex Misslin. I just started throwing these the last couple of days. The Opto-Hex Misslin, it is very overstable, so you really have to crank on it hard. I like it. It really cuts through the wind, so it's pretty predictable. It flies very far. You really have to be an experienced player to be able to throw a disc like this. The same thing with this Gladiator. It's the same way. It is very overstable. It doesn't go as far as the Misslin because it's not as fast, but it still flies really good, very predictable, very comfortable in your hand. It really gets that flex line on it that you like, and it's very easy to throw that with this one. So that is basically everything that I have in my bag that I throw. So until next time, guys, thank you.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face, tell me that you love me. even if it's fake.